to be here today, and I'm sure I don't know what's coming up here. Like we said, brother, you know, we don't have a little study before we do this, so I'm just following along, and I'm sure that brother has something great for us to be able to chew on.
Hallelujah. And yes, we're going to continue on the according to the scriptures. Praise Yahuwah.
Right, that's very important with the soul.
Well, we know that when years ago, I was studying popular mechanics. I'm talking about a 1950-something edition, and they showed how they moved the obelisks from the side of the Vatican City. They moved it to the front and then applied a ball and a cross on top of the sun obelisks,
right.
the male domination sundial of Nimrod. And the Pope said, on Monday I might put the article up, if anybody takes the contract to move it, you get this? Takes the contract to move it, and you break the marble, you would die, your contractor would die, the horses would die, and all the construction wood and tools would be burnt. That was the order of the Pope. So this Mason Catholic told he said, Holy Father, I'm using their words. Oh, this Kodesh Father, let me 3 months to go to Alexandria and look at the maps and the information of how they built it, and then I'll return. He went to the city of Alexandria, he pulled the scroll, he's seen how they did it, he come back, and he was awarded in his family for a lifetime all the contracts once he did it. Once he dug in the ground, they showed how they put the scaffolds, how they made it slide, they used lard and everything to slide it in place and set it up. And then they set it in front of the Vatican. Well, he got honored all the general contracts for the rest of his company's life. His life had tax-free contracts. And the Pope, back in those days, if you were a contractor, all the contracts had to go to the Pope, and he gives them to whoever contracting company he wants. So he got all the contract jobs.
Wow.
It'd be like President Obama right now would be the controller of all the contract jobs of not just D.C., but every state in the United States. That's pretty controlling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's too much power.
So he can give it to the company he wants to give it to.
Right.
But, you know, it just shows why did they put a ball and a cross on top of this ancient obelisk sundial that was there since 300 BC,
right.
CE? You know what I mean?
So then one might ask, why are they doing this? I believe that they're doing it, this is my input, because they really believe in their
sun god worship.
And
and these doctrines of demons. And I just pray that you all have really studied that video I made concerning the NASA obelisks, you know, that particular video that was made, Washington, Mania, Nimrod, NASA, part 7, showing the root of witchcraft and the occultism of the religion. They have a belief. Hillary Clinton has a belief. She believes in Luciferian occult. She's a part of the Luciferian. Okay? She has a belief. She's not an evolutionist. She don't got evolution speaking before her before she goes on the stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so we know for sure of her source of the books she reads. And I've even seen pictures of voodoo witch doctors as well as occultists in the United States praying and laying hands on Hillary. So you have to be the judge. They have a belief. These people, humanism is a religion. It's a belief system. NASA has a belief system. It is the heliocentric system and sun worship of ancient Nimrod Babylon.
Right. So I think that a lot of this stuff that we're reading, brother, we need to either we're going to believe what the Torah says literally or not. So I'm just asking the people out there that are listening to this that, really consider in your mind, if you don't already believe this, but what if everything that's in here is true? It's not just a story. Some people, what I'm saying seems very easy, and they've already gone through that, and it seems very simple. But believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there who are still believing that most of the people out there, most of humanity believes, this is like a go to church on Sunday, even for the Shabbat, and oh yeah, we believe some things, but should we really take the Bible literally? Should we really take and now I'm speaking to the Jewish people who live in America today, who live here now, and that go to I'm sorry, brother. That go to the places of Jewish worship, and a lot of them are taught, or they have questions, and I hear them asking questions, and they're told, well, it's kind of dangerous to believe in the Bible literally. I mean, because the Father told us to go to Israel and to kick everybody out. See, that's dangerous. See, if you have the mindset that when Yahuwah said to the Israelites, now you're going to go in this land and you're going to dispose of these people, dispossess the land, push them out, get them out. Yeah, this is your inheritance. That's pretty extreme. According to Torah, there's going to be a lot of people angry because there is a lot of us. How much? Well, Yahuwah said, your descendants are going to be like the sands of the sea, many, and you won't be able to count them. So if you look in all of the earth and you pull out all of the Ashkenaz, the Sephardic, and the Mizrahi Jews, there's millions of us. And if we were all to go back to the land of Israel at one time, I'm sorry, but there would be a lot of land that would be dispossessed. I mean, but let me just put another perspective, give you something else just to kind of chew on, is this. Right now, today, there are people coming here to this land, okay? And they believe that it's their right to take over. They have to change our laws. Right, and bring Sharia law, exactly. And that's right, but they don't see that as being radical. And it's because there's an agenda. There's an agenda for them to for them to do this, right? So that we'll stand up, and because they know that sooner or later the people in America are going to stand up, and when that happens, there's going to be total chaos, and then they can implement martial law. That's another thing. The same thing is happening today with all the Chinese. The Chinese are coming here and buying everything up. Now, let me tell you something. This is an economical warfare that's going on. Right now in the United States, there is great warfare, and most of the people do not even recognize that we're at war. Okay, we are in an economy war. Okay, and right now, and these people are coming, foreigners are coming into our country and buying everything up. But I believe that there's going to be a man that's going to come into office, and he's going to wage economic warfare on those countries that are coming in here. And the first thing he's going to do is cut them off. And everything that they have spent is now going to go back to the people of the United States. They will not own nothing at all here. They're going to get kicked out.
What they did was, I remember that they came in and they bought up everything. I even had a Saudi Arabia guy, because I'm Middle Eastern, I'm Israeli. I had a goatee, my hair was kind of wild like it is now and curly, and some Middle Eastern walked up to me and he said, "Hey, are you from the Middle East and everything?" No, I'm not. I didn't tell him what I was, because I didn't tell people I was Yehudi back then, and I used to hide it. You know what I mean? And I was blending in with different Italians. I was working with Italians then, and so he asked me. He actually took me to his place and tried to convince me to marry his sister and give me a salary of $15,000 a month. This way they can bring their brothers and sisters and migrate to the United States.
Oh,
Now
wow.
get this, but I will never do that
They're
for
going
money.
to sell out your own country.
I make more money in a week that you're trying to tempt me in a month, with
Right.
all the benefits in a house and a pool and a business, and bring your family here from Saudi Arabia. With all due respect, let's just party and have fun. Let's stop this conversation. But what happened within a few months later, the embargo gas came in and everybody's ticked off, and they bought these hotels from Las Vegas, from Glendale, Gardena, Pasadena, all through Hollywood, from the places in Florida, the resorts and retreats. They're buying everything. Even the Hollywood Films was bought up, Hollywood
Right.
Production was bought up, all these companies. And they kept the name and the licensing, but they hid in the woodwork, these
Right.
Islamic people. Well, when the embargo came, I don't remember what happened, but that president froze the
That's
assets,
it. Yeah.
kicked them out. Your white wife, Caucasian wife, could go with you, but you're not
Right.
keeping a dime.
See
You're
that,
leaving.
and today they're doing even worse, because today they're not hiding nothing, brother. They,
Right.
they're not even trying to marry a U.S. citizens.
No, they're just coming in through
and
Obama stuff,
right, and
immigration.
outright buying stuff. It's, you know what? It is against. It's a not only a travesty, but it is a treason. It is. I don't even know what the
It's
word
a
to use.
disaster.
I don't even know what word to use. But man,
treason.
they're
It's
buying
treason.
our own land from these people that
And
are in
not being
office.
legally
Are,
married in the system.
they're allowing foreigners to come in here and buy our own land. I mean, it's
Like
crazy.
China owns all kinds of land in Nevada, Utah, and Oregon,
and
Ohio. and
the
other places.
Arabs own all kinds of they own the news stations that you're watching,
CNN,
man.
NBC,
the
are
news stations
50
that
to
you're watching
70%. Oh.
are owned by them.
That's why they don't want Trump.
Right. That's why and you sit there and you listen all day to all the rhetoric about Trump. And let me tell you why. Because Trump is going to cut them off.
Saudis are be cut off.
Yeah. He's going to cut all them off. As soon as they come into office, as soon as he comes into office, I believe, and this is just my belief, I believe that he's going to wage economy warfare on them, and he's going to freeze their assets, and he's going to cut
Just
them
like
off,
happened in
and
the
he's going to
70s.
say, no, this government is for the American people, not for the foreigners, but for the American people,
Right.
for those who are born and are natural citizens and raised here. Okay? Not for those who are coming in illegally and then becoming citizens. You're not, who aren't born here,
This-
and you're
if this
not
happened
even married.
in the 70s,
Right?
it's 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
2000, 40-something years later, it happens again.
Right.
40 years again, a repeat. But
Right.
this time, they don't even need to marry a white girl and become a citizen.
Or just any. Even it can be a black girl, it can be a Hispanic girl, or it can be
They prefer,
an
I'm telling you
Oriental
right now,
girl
all those
that are
Arabs I
born
saw
in
in
the
Hollywood, they
U.S.
wanted white women,
That-
blonde hair women. I don't know why. What's their trip about blonde
Right,
women?
but the thing is that all of those, they're not even what I'm trying to say is they're not even marrying American-born women to be here. They're just coming
with
here, and
Obama's
then
help.
and they're bringing their wives from everywhere else and
their children.
with their children, and they're just being transplanted here. Okay, and my question is to you guys who can hear me is, what do you want from us? What do you want? What do you want from us? You know,
They have an agenda.
Yeah, you have an agenda. I don't want to go to your
occupy
country
and take over our country.
Right, I don't want to go to your country and occupy it.
Right.
You know, and take it
There's
over.
nothing
I have
we
no
want in
business
those
being
places.
over there. I don't want to be there, but I want to be here in my country. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now.
Okay,
Because
and that's great
yeah.
input. That's great input. We'll get some
Okay.
good blogs on it. Stimulate it a little bit. It's
Right.
going to stretch our teaching. But when I went to Venice, Italy, the same thing I saw. What they would do is, if they were selling a restaurant for $1.5 million right off the beach front, right?
Right.
And he was a Venetian selling it, and another Venetian said, "Okay, I'll give you $1.5 million." A Chinese would come in and say, "We'll give you $2.5 million. Marry my daughter and produce seed." And all these guys are 70, 80 years old, having wives that are 20, 30 years old. They're making babies Chinese, teaching a Venetian. Within another 40 years, they say Venetians will cease to exist. They'll be completely taken over by
Right.
The Chinese hire all the Venetian cooks and chefs and Italians and Romans and Venetian people in all the hotels and everything. But you'll see in the back a Chinese little girl, young girl, with an old Venetian man. In other words, you keep your hotel, take your $2.5 million, keep your hotel, but now it's going to the inheritance of our Chinese children you're going to produce. Right. And these guys are selling. There's no patriotism anymore.
They're selling out their countries.
They're selling out their whole country. Yeah, for a few years of their elderly life with a young woman.
And this is essentially what our so-called elected officials are doing to us here.
They're selling
out our wealth, the wealth of the nation.
Right, but it's gonna. But brother, if the father does what happened in the 70s, we would confiscate it, send them on a boat, send them back, confiscate their money, freeze their assets, and put it on the auction block and resell it to Americans.
Right. And for all those Christians that are listening to this, let me tell you something, Christians, and with all due respect, the word says that if my people who are called by my name, and Christian is not his name, okay, would humble themselves and pray. Who are you? Or if you're called by the name of Yahuwah, if you're called by the name of Israel, of Yahudah, you're a worshiper of Yahuwah, of the Creator, of the Mighty One of Israel. Then He's going to listen to you.
Right.
So you have to be grafted in. You cannot be a Christian. You must be grafted into the house of Israel.
Right.
Okay,
100%.
And this is what the Yehudi in Israel should be teaching, and should be wanting for all the house of Israel to come home.
Right.
Okay.
And they will. They're going to get you there. There's some people rising up.
But most of them are pushing everybody else out. They're pushing.
Or they're trying to convert them to Judaism, to the sect of Orthodox rabbinical.
Right, and they're not calling on the name of Yahuwah.
They don't call on the name of Yahuwah either.
Yeah.
We got the right to kick them out because we call on the name of Yahuwah.
Yeah. Well, Yah speaking to people who are calling on His name, who are grafting back into the house of Israel. We have an inheritance.
Wow. Praise Yah. Let's go back, man. We spent 20 minutes on that. That's okay. I can edit that and make a whole video out of that one. Our political views of the Torah. But we're trying to let you know that at that time they dispossessed all the wickedness of the Canaanites, the Moabites. They called the Palestinians then, but that was a Roman term for the area. Okay, right. But they were made up of 5 bastard children races that did not have a heritage. Right. There is no.
They didn't have an inheritance at all.
Right now in Ramallah, in the streets of Israel, or in Gaza, these people are Persian. They're Islamic, and they can't even go back to Persia, brother. Because they look at them and they're pochos, they're half-breeds. They can't come back here. Go back to Gaza. We'll give you money to stay there and make hell on Israel.
Yeah, they don't want them back.
They don't even want them back.
They're not even taking them back, and these are their own people, their own brothers and sisters.
All right.
This is where where you have to, whether you got to believe, or you got to believe in the literal word, what the word is saying, or you can believe in what we've been taught. So it really is a paradigm shift. Right. Because if you believe the word literally, it's going to go against what you've been taught in school. And whether you're in high school or college or wherever you may have learned. For us, it started when we were little kids and went to the first grade. And what was presented to us, so we've been indoctrinated in this. So Yahuwah had to bring us out. Come out of her, my people. Right, and believing what I'm telling you is true, So,
and we know that the education system of 100 years ago, before everybody was taught out of their scriptures, their Bibles, that's how they were educated to learn and read and write and do the adult basic education. Then they had to have tutors and mentors to get more education. And if you were the time of the Europe,
right,
the Catholic Church. You got to go to their parochial schools and issue out their food, what they taught. And it's the same thing our government's doing here. In Israel, they don't have public schools. Right. They have schools connected to the synagogues, and it might be Hasidic, and they might be rabbinical, not all of them. and the government pays them to handle the schools, to make a school.
And
so they don't need that. They don't
Right.
need that garbage education.
And who's leading the whole world in technology? Israel.
That's right.
Israel's leading the whole, not the United States.
Well, even the people that are here leading,
Right.
they happen to be backslid in Yehudi.
Yeah. So
You know, they got Yehudi blood. You know what I mean? This is a little idea. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and proceed and close with this pamphlet, replacement theology pamphlet. Please email us at eagleshavenministry@yahoo.com. If you want to talk to Brother Anayahu, you could go to Witness of the Covenant, and you can request from Eagles Haven Ministry at yahoo.com the free information of my wife's music. But also, if you would like to give Brother, as you see on the screen, there's his email address. You can email and ask him questions, or you can email me as well and ask questions and look at our different information or questions, and we can send you information either by PDF file, pamphlet, CD, or DVDs. We thank you for tuning in.
yeah, I just want to say, don't be discouraged, everybody out there. If you're listening to us and you've been listening to us for a while, you're probably more advanced in the Torah than what you know, because there's a lot of people out there who do not read the Torah like this.
And you'll be patient with us, people, because
Yeah.
we're giving scriptures you probably already know.
Right.
But
Right.
we want people that don't even know to know.
Right. Well, there's people out there who may have just come in and they're not as far along as you are. So then we have to do more explaining.
In the Shem of Yeshua, thank you for watching us. We have a good, this is your Shabbat, celebrate, kick it, relax, have shalom. We thank you for tuning in.
Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.